Hello and welcome to today's live stream. Do me a favor and let us know where you're joining from. It looks like we already have 5 people here. Let me know who you are and where you're joining from. Looks like we have Tech Gear Talk here. Hello, Jackie Photo. People are stopping by to say hello. Less than 90 seconds before we get started. With less than 45 seconds to go, let me know where you are joining from. It looks like we got Pennsylvania in the house. We have the east side of Cleveland on the house, the west side of Cleveland in the house. Let me know where you are joining us from. The time is now. We are now live. I hope you're having an awesome day. First and foremost, the sun is shining. There's just that little bit of chill in the air here in Ohio. It's a beautiful day. I actually saw, I was stopped at a really busy intersection, and these little Canadian geese with their little babies went by. It was adorable. So spring is definitely here. And I'm also seeing a lot of people in the Cleveland area taking pictures of foxes. Two questions. Where are they? Because I want to photograph them. Number two, if you've taken a photo of them, what exactly did they say? I want to know, what did the fox say? Let me know in the comments below. So let's see where everybody is joining us from. We have Tech Gear Talk. Hello, my friend. Hope you are doing well. Jackie Photo. Hi, everyone. Jen Stitt from Philly. Hey, from Ohio. Michelle joining us from North Ridgeville. Hello, Michelle. Hope you are doing well. We have a good group of people here today to learn a little bit more about tethering. Before we get into that, I do want to apologize if in the next couple days these get started a little bit late. I was actually blocked from Facebook because of these live streams. The one countdown that I do with the people doing like all the crazy stuff, I got a copyright infringement for that. So I actually am in Facebook jail. So that's why if you see a different TJ, a TJ at Pixel, that is my incognito account. So I can still do these live streams every day, but the software doesn't like it when you change account information. So I ask that you bear with me. That's why we have that kind of 5 minutes before, and we might start a little bit later. So let's see who we have. I am at Kroger in Canton, Michigan. Hello, Karna. Thanks for joining in while you're doing your shopping. We have Brian here. Hi there. Hopefully you're doing well. Jim Summers, he knows where the foxes are, but he's not telling us. Hopefully he sends me a direct message because I would love to see and capture a photograph of those foxes. Sue Morrison, hello from Syracuse, New York. So we have quite a big audience today. So I'm actually not going to bore you with anything that I have to talk about. I'm actually going to bring in my friend here from Tether Tools. Liz, let's get you unmuted and see how your day is going.
Good morning. Hi, everyone. Thank you, TJ, for inviting me on to your podcast. I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited to go over tethering with you all. I usually throw this question out when I'm doing my live presentations. This is my first time doing an online presentation, so bear with me a little bit. But I'm curious to know if you guys can just leave your comment, posting your comments, how familiar you are with shooting tethered and kind of what you're hoping to learn today, just so I can get an idea of where you guys are at. I'm going to go ahead and jump right into a presentation for you. So this is called Why Tether? Tether Tools is known for the go-to company for all things tethered. You've probably seen those high visibility orange cables out on sets or, in some people's behind the scene images. We also just recently introduced some wireless solutions to help with your workflow as well. And then there's also a whole line of products to enhance your setup and just make things easier with the tether table. There's also iPad and mounting solutions as well. So what I'm going to get into first is reasons for shooting tethered, and then we'll get into the gear. So this just goes over the agenda. We're going to go over the introduction to tethering, the creative benefits, how does it work, and then some resources if you guys want to check those out after the presentation. So tethering is known to increase your workflow efficiency. It allows you to collaborate on set. What is tethering exactly? So tethering is when you view the image on a larger screen. You're transferring the image from your DSLR to a monitor, a computer. You can also go to your iPad, a tablet, or a cell phone. Just the basics in case.
And I want to jump in here too, because for me, this, tethering really changed my workflow for my seniors because the parents could see the photos live. My model could see those photos live. And to me, like, I noticed a change within my models, because they could actually, you know, a lot of times we take photos and then we look at the back of the camera. And, you know, when we're doing that, you know, our models, especially, you know, for, you know, seniors in high school, they get really self-conscious and they think that they're doing something wrong. So, you know, if I can point to a TV, in my studio, I had a TV screen, and I could point and say, do you see here? I want to change that a little bit. Or, you know, I'll say things like, oh, I messed up. You could see where I messed up here. I'm going to change this light around. For me, it just makes things a lot easier. Tethering, you get to see it on a larger screen. You get to see all the little details. So, you know, for me personally, tethering totally changed my workflow. And that's why I geek out with the Tether tool stuff. You had put the question out, if people tether. So I want to throw a couple things up here. They say the store looks nice. Yes, we are working on it, and we are getting ready to open on the 12th, and it's going to be an awesome experience. Kelly Houston, that is my aunt. She says hello from Illyria. Kim Pagel says, hi from Cedar Rapids. I have tethered with my Fuji X-T3. Good to know. And Jen is hoping to learn a couple extra tips and tricks and maybe invest in a new accessory. So we have a lot of excited tethering people. So I'm going to let you get back to it.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing your experience, TJ. That is one of the benefits that we share, is the collaborating with a team. As you mentioned, I think, using the example with the senior high school students, they are very self-conscious and they want to be included in the experience. Specifically that demographic, they're so used to seeing things instantaneously. So bringing them into that process, and then also including the parent, it just ensures that everybody's walking away from the shoot with their expectations met. It also allows a little bit more creativity. I'm going backwards here. I jumped ahead when you shared. So that's going back to the image visibility. There's also, you know, double checking your composition. I don't know about you guys, but there was this one time I was out at Joshua Tree Park, a national park, and I invested a significant amount of money to make this trip. And when I got back, I did not shoot tethered. It was previous to joining the Tether Tools team and being aware. And when I got back from the shoot, I thought everything was in focus based on just looking at the back of my camera. And then I downloaded them to my computer 2 days after I got back from the shoot. And some of my favorite shots that looked great on the back of my camera were not in focus. So, you know, if I was shooting tethered, I would have caught that right then and there, and I would have been able to adjust for my shoot. And I kind of skip through here. So this, I think tethering, previous, you know, about 7 years ago when I started with Tether Tools, a lot of people were like, well, why would I tether? I'm not a commercial photographer. A lot of people had this idea that shooting tethered was for commercial photography. I think that it was prominent in that market initially, but I think opening up with the longer cables that Tether Tools offer, it gave people more flexibility in other uses. And now the wireless allows you to be out photographing landscape, nature photography. You could be doing an event, a wedding photography, and be able to shoot tethered. And I know some event photographers who wedding photographers that have incorporated tethering into their workflow because they can check on their formal photos. So they'll bring an assistant in and have that assistant double checking, making sure cell phones aren't showing, sunglasses are hidden, you know, everything's looking good. There's no blinks. It allows you to cut down on your shooting because you are getting that image in camera and you're walking away from the shoot knowing that you have the shot. This is a cool diagram of showing, again, collaborating with a team, being able to communicate with everybody from lighting, from makeup artists, hairstylists, the art director. So going back to different markets that people may be shooting tethered in. As I said, I think the biggest benefit of shooting tethered is knowing that you got the shot when you walk away. You can also do multi-viewing. You could be going to your iPad and also be going to go to your desktop and then also go to a monitor if you have you know, a big group of people that wanted to see the images. So it just allows you more flexibility with your workflow. Okay, so now I'm going to get into the fun stuff. How does it work? So simply to get started, you would need a tether cable or a wireless solution. And then you would need a device to tether to and a tethering software. So there's a lot of different tethering softwares out there. The most popular programs that are used for shooting tethered is Lightroom and Capture One. So if you have Lightroom, you can use that as a tethering software. You would just go to File, Start Tethered Capture. Just to note, a lot of people are pleased with the speed of Capture One. Oops, sorry about that. Let me go back to my screen. So Capture One is known to be faster. Now, if you're not sure exactly how to get started, there is on the Tether Tools website is a search by camera guide. So you could use that guide, plug in the make and model of your camera, and it will list everything that's compatible with your camera, computer, software. I jumped ahead a little bit. And here's the search by camera. So this is a great resource. The camera is going to have a specific USB. So it could be a USB 2.0, 3.0, and now we're moving into USB-C. So you can use this guide to confirm, or if you're working with our friends at the Pixel Connection, they can help you get what you need as well. And then the tethering, hold on just a minute, I jumped ahead of it.
And I want to point out too that Tether Tools does have a cable for all cameras. And we haven't found one that, hasn't been capable on both sides too, in both computers. So, a lot of the newer like Macs, for example, they're all USB-C, whereas like I use the Surface Book and it has USB and USB-C, USB 3 and USB-C.
Right.
And there's, a new version of USB-C that's right around the corner. And they're always on top of that stuff. So they can go through and you can go through and find the perfect tethering cable for you, depending on your camera is the first thing. And the second thing is your computer, because those are the two different ends. A lot of times we'll have people that order online and they show up and then they come in, they're like, okay, I don't want to make this mistake again. And what do I need? And, we use that exact same tool where we can verify, okay, this is a Nikon on this end. And this is, you said you have a Mac this year. Okay, that's USB-C, and boom, you can plug it in. So again, It's awesome because Tether Tools has a cable for almost everything. And actually, you have the slide up where you were going to talk about the quality, because that was my next thing. So I'll let you go ahead.
Right. Yeah, I'd love to share this. So a lot of really interesting things that the cable that comes to your camera, it's usually a shorter cable, it's usually black. One of the differences the Tether Pro cables are designed for high volume image transfer. They're also fully shielded, gold plated. They're known as the standard for shooting tethered. They're known for their reliability. The high visibility orange is great to have on set. Makes it easier to see, helps minimize the chance that it gets stepped on, or you have millions of black cables. It's easy to know which one's your tethering cable. And then they're also available in increments of 15 feet. So with USB 2.0, for instance, you could go up to 65 feet. You could add additional cables to the line, the active extensions, in increments of 15. With the 3.0, you can also go up to 65 feet. You may need a tether boost, which helps regulate the power going to the line, because the 3.0 does require more power. And then the USB-C. So these are, you've probably seen the high visibility orange on set. So now I'm going to get into a little bit of, I think TJ also touched upon this, a little bit more about the actual setup. So a lot of times people are not sure if they should start by shooting with a cable or if they should go wireless. So I'm hoping to kind of help if you're along that line, you're not sure which one to do or what is best for your workflow. It does help to kind of go over that when you're at the search by camera guide. That will let you know what is compatible, but it also depends what you're shooting. So for instance, if you're a nature or landscape photographer, the wireless would be a better solution for you. Now, there's a couple different options for wireless solutions. So the Case Air is available. The Case Air is more designed for a mobile device. So if you're going to an iPad or your phone, it does come with a free app that you can use for that, and it is specific to Canon and Nikon. So if you're a Canon and Nikon user, you might prefer to start with something like that. It's a little bit, it's only an investment of around $159. There is a limitation, well, not a limitation with the range, but it goes up to 150 feet, where the Air Direct would go to 200 feet. And the Case Air is designed to capture the RAW to the card, and then you're viewing the JPEG. The JPEG actually goes to the device. Now the Air Direct, if you're managing a RAW workflow, or you have, if you're shooting Fuji or a Sony, Panasonic, it's compatible with most camera manufacturers that offer a USB tethering. It does have a range of about 200 feet, but the main difference is that you can transfer a RAW file right into your preferred tethering software. So you can go right into Lightroom or Capture One or Canon EOS utility. So there's just different preferences. So it kind of depends on how frequently you plan on shooting, and what your ideal workflow would be as, going wireless on the go. The Air Direct does retail for $329, so it's a little bit more of an investment, but if you really want to manage those RAW files and go into your preferred tethering software, then it would be the right solution for you. Now, I jumped ahead, apparently. I keep doing that. That's all right. Where we went over the 2.0 and the 3.0 and the tethering distances. Now, if you are managing a cable workflow, we do recommend protecting your port. So that can be something that needs serious consideration when you're shooting, because if you damage your USB port on your computer or your camera, that's upward of $200 to $500 repair, TJ. In some instances, you might have to get a whole new camera.
And I can tell you personally, the jerk stopper has saved me in studio. I go to grab something, I trip over it, or if, it's on a tripod. And what's cool about these is, you can see from this image, you can have it where it plugs right into the side of the computer. It can be on like a tether table or another table. And I think the one on the end is adhesive. Is that an adhesive one?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that is the jerk stopper flat mount. So it does have an adhesive, and then it also has the Velcro where the actual cable management part adheres to the part that is attached to the table. So it gives you more flexibility of where you're.
And then if you look all the way to the left, you can see on the camera where it goes through like the eyelet of the camera. And then there's this little, think of it like, I'm trying to think of the little plastic clips that go together. It goes together and then you can loosen it up. So it's not always on there. It's not like you have to disassemble all this stuff. One part stays on your cable, one part just stays on your camera. And it's super easy when you lock into your, you're in your studio or you're, on location for headshots, whatever it is, you just pop that on there and it's protected. So you don't have to worry about your cable pulling out.
Yeah, and another neat feature going back to that is that if there is 7 pounds of impact put on that jerk stopper that's on the camera, it will quick release. And then it's easy to store as well, because you can leave, as TJ said, you can leave one part on your camera and then the other on the cable. So this gives you a quick example of different workstation workflows. So the first image shows basic setup in the studio or on location, popular for headshot, step and repeat type of stuff, with the tether table with the high visibility orange cable. Now the other setup is showing the second image is showing a little bit more versatility. That's the arrow tab. That is a mounting solution that you can use with an iPad or a tablet. Here it's shown with the Surface Pro. And then the third image is showing the rock solid bar that's on top of the tripod there. So that allows you to have your tether table as well as your camera mounted onto the same piece. And then another cool thing on this is a tripod with the little tripod roller there. So you can add that tripod roller to any tripod. So that's a cool little feature to make your tripod mobile. So this is just some inspiration to get an idea of the different types of workflow. Here it's shown, car photography, easy set. They have a typical commercial setup, but you can bring that out on location. So that's just giving you some idea there. Now, the mobile setups I feel like are getting more popular depending on what type of photography you do. So this is showing the iPad mounted with, again, the arrow tab onto the head of a tripod, and then being able to do an interior shot going right to the mobile device versus bringing, you know, your desktop and your laptop. You might want something quick and basic like this. Another cool feature on the arrow tab is that you can actually wear it like with a black rapid strap or a D-ring. So that's another cool thing that you can do if you're out on set. I don't think I have an image here, but another popular setup is having, no, we did have it with the tripod. So the middle image here, that can be a popular setup if you're shooting on location, like landscape or nature photography. That's another popular setup for the mobile photographer, shown with a cable here because it's a Surface Pro, but if you had an iPad, you could go mobile with the same type of setup. So before, I'd like to jump in and do a quick demonstration for you all. Do you all have any questions before I go ahead with doing a demo?
It doesn't look like we have any in there now, but if anybody does have questions about, you know, whether it's wired or wireless tethering or any of the things that you see, go ahead and put it in the comments, whether you're on our website, you're on Facebook, any of those, go ahead and put those in there.
Okay, so I would like, what I'm going to show you guys now is I am going to do a wireless with the new AirDirect. So as you can see here, I have it mounted to the hot shoe of the camera. Doesn't have to be mounted to the hot shoe. You could also mount it to the side of the camera with an L bracket. It would require an Arca clamp, so that's an accessory to the AirDirect if you need that hot shoe available for a speed light or a pocket wizard or anything of that sort. Now, the AirDirect is powered by the Canon battery. It does come with the Canon battery as well as a charger for that. And then it comes with 5 different cables. So again, you would just grab the cable that's compatible with your camera, and you would go ahead and plug that into the AirDirect and then use the USB port here. Now, I'm going to show you guys like connecting everything. So I don't have anything on right now. So I am going to turn my camera on, and I am going to turn the AirDirect on with the power here. So the green light tells you if it's fully powered, so we're ready to go there. And then this second light here is going to turn blue. It's basically looking for the Wi-Fi. Now, the Wi-Fi the AirDirect creates its own Wi-Fi network, so you don't have to depend on the Wi-Fi at the location you're at. Now, since I am streaming on the internet to you guys right now, I did set it up to utilize the new bridge feature that the AirDirect offers. So it's going to allow me to connect to that AirDirect network, and then I am bridging my internet connections. So in terms of speed, I'm not sure if this will be a realistic idea of the speed. I typically tell people, depending on the camera and the size of your files, it can be anywhere from 5 to 12 seconds of transferring a RAW and a JPEG file. Okay, so now my camera's on, my AirDirect's on. Can you all see the Smart Shooter software that I'm going to tether into? Can you see that okay, TJ?
Yep, I got it up there for you.
Okay, so my model over here moved a little bit. So I will work around that, and I'll do a quick shot of her. So what I'm going to do is I have already downloaded the AirDirect utility. Can you see that AirDirect here on my desktop?
Yep, it's there.
Okay, perfect. So the AirDirect utility has to be downloaded to the device that you're tethering to. You only have to do it once unless there's a firmware update. This kind of tricks your camera, your software, and your computer into thinking you're tethering with a cable. So I tend to refer to it as like the wireless cable software. So you just download this once. So I'm going to close this out, reopen it, and make sure everything is connected. So once this is connected, I am going to go ahead and open my tethering software, and I am going to hit detect here. Take a shot. Sometimes I notice if I take a shot, it will speed up the connection. Let me double check.
And I also want to point out that you were talking about a new firmware, right? That allows you to connect like to your wireless network at home. So up until this point, you've had to choose one or the other. Like you couldn't do a live stream and tether at the same time because obviously they're going to be on two separate networks. And now what it's allowing you to do is actually join the camera to the your home network, so that way everything's kind of on the same one. And we did test this beforehand, but again, we're going live, so
and what I'm doing right now is I just realized that I didn't reconnect the AirDirect network, so I'm going to reconnect that and then everything should work. And again, sometimes just quick troubleshooting in a particular sequence will help reestablish the connection. So I'm going to go ahead and close Smart Shooter now that AirDirect is seeing everything. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring up the Smart Shooter software. Now, the Smart Shooter software is a software distributed by Tether Tools. It's just a capture utility. This is a nice software if you're not looking to, do color corrections and that type of stuff. I just use it as a simple capture utility. You can also connect the Smart Shooter to Lightroom or Capture One. Now, applications where you might need to do that is if you are operating on the new Catalina operating system. Unfortunately, it's not going to work with the AirDirect. So a way to get around that for Canon and Nikon and Sony shooters is to use Smart Shooter and then just bridge into your preferred software. So that's kind of the workaround to that until things are updated. Tether Tools is aware, and we are addressing the matter and working on some type of solution for that. But right now, this is where we're at. And this does work with the Canon and Nikon and Sony. Okay, so we have.
And I want to point out a couple things here. The Mac and Catalina thing, that's not just a Tether Tools thing. That is definitely a 100% Apple thing, and the changes that they're making. And as photographers, that there's several software titles that are like that. So me personally, I don't hold that against Tether Tools. It's not like they're not working on it. Apple definitely made some big changes. And then also, I just want to point out the fact that she just changed a network setting live during a live stream, and then this all just worked. So can we just applaud that fact? I mean, that tells us just how good this software is, how much research and development have gone into both the hardware and the software for this to be able to work. She's in a different state than me, and we're connected over the internet, and she just took a photo of her cat tethered wirelessly. I mean, can we talk? Mind blown. This is George Jetson level stuff here. So I'm just blown away by all this. I'm geeking out.
Yeah. No, it's really cool stuff. It's awesome. And, there was just some steps that I had to take in a certain sequence to get everything connected. What I just shot, this is my model for the day. This is my cat, Misha. So this is a large JPEG. So I'm also going to show you guys a RAW and a JPEG so you can see. Oh, Misha's really getting into this now. Okay. So you guys can see the difference with a RAW and a JPEG file. So it does take a little bit longer, but again, it's there. It's ready to go. Cat's moving.
And now, can you control camera settings as well? Is that what you're doing?
Yes, you can. So I actually changed the size of the file from the Smart Shooter program. I didn't do it in camera.
Now can you change other things too, or no?
Yes, it depends what setting I am in. So right now I'm in P, but if I change it to manual, I can go in here.
And such a great picture to stop on too. That is hilarious.
What's that?
That was a great photo to stop on.
wasn't quite in focus, but yeah, so you can change, like I could change the aperture within the software, which I love this feature so that I'm not like sitting there playing around in my camera. I think it just makes things a lot easier. Right. This is what I am using. This is a Canon EOS Rebel. So this is a T5i. So the files are a little bit smaller than say what you would get on like the Nikon D800 series or the 5D4 or, you know, moving into like the phase ones and the Hasselblads. In that instance, if you need the speed, it is still better to go with a cable. I think the price point for the wireless solutions and the cables, I think a lot of people are investing in both options and then just grabbing whichever one would be best for the job. So if you're in the studio, you can grab the cable. If you're doing some interior shots, you want the speed that day, you can grab your cable, make that work. If you're going out into the desert, you can grab the wireless solution. So it's nice to have different options for, you know, for what your workflow is or what you're photographing.
Now I had a question on the you said like taking this out landscape wise. So let's say we're hiking. Can we set up the wire direct tethering? So any picture that I take will automatically go to my phone?
Yes.
Or iPad in my bag?
Yes, that is, you know, I've met some people who were telling me that the reason that they decided to go wireless is because they were shooting on their nice cameras, you know, they're investing in their photography, and then their wives would take pictures on her cell phone and share with the whole family right away. So he decided to go with the Case Air so that he could quickly share the images from his camera that he was taking at the, you know, the same travel trip that they're doing or the same family event that they're doing. So I have heard of people shooting tethered just so they can easily share through their phone with their family and friends right away, or being able to upload them to social media as well.
And I would think too, like events and, you know, let's say it's almost like a photo booth, but you could do it for like a step and repeat where you're at, you know, Absolutely. A prom, or you're, you know, where you need those photos right now, an award dinner, you know, where you need them fast. You're able to then just boom, send those right over to a computer, you know, copy to Dropbox, wherever. Mm-hmm. It just speeds up that workflow so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And
so we did have a question that came in. Sorry, I just logged on. Maybe you discussed this, but how often do you use tethering? Is it something you use with a group/team setting? So, you know, me personally, I did it from a portrait, kind of from a portrait perspective, in my own studio is when I did it. And anybody that came in the studio, for the most part, it was tethered. So that way they could see the photos right there on screen. There is a little bit of apprehension when you first get started to see, you know, that, you know, if in case you screw something up for exposure or whatever. But after you get over that, you know, it's super, super easy. Also, you know, they're seeing what comes out of your camera and then as a raw file where it's super unsaturated. And then when they get those deliverables where they're actually color corrected and white balance and they just look totally different, you actually, they see the value in the work that you do on the retouching side or the, you know, correction side. And that's why it takes a minute. A lot of people think that, you know, you take the button and the camera does everything and why don't you have them this afternoon? Whereas in the studio, if they see them up there, they can see the uncompressed, the raw file. So I did it anytime that I was in studio. Now I tether for my food photography, and that's because I'm doing more lay flats. So it's just, I shoot it with a 5D4, so there's not like a tiltable screen on it. So for me, I just have it so that way I can see that vertical. So anytime I use it for that implication, you know, it's a tool. It's a tool in the toolbox. Is it something I use all the time? No, I use it when I need to use it. So that's my opinion to answer that.
Right. I would say I shoot tethered pretty frequently, you know, doing these types of demos and such, but I'm also a photographer and I do absolutely shoot tethered when I'm in the studio. Definitely for headshots. I think that I regret it when I don't do it, but when I'm doing families or specifically photographing the kids in a family and I have the parents there, I try to, you know, be consistent and bring like my Surface Pro and have the family be able to look at that while I'm shooting so I can focus on what I'm doing. But there's tons of different applications. I don't typically photograph landscape photography, but the one time I invested in doing a workshop and a trip, I wished I shot tethered, because I mentioned this earlier, because I thought that I captured, lighting wise, everything that I wanted to capture. But then when I got home and found the time 2 days later to download the images, I realized that some of them were not in focus, and those were the ones that looked great on the back of my camera. I had pretty good eyesight, but I just didn't catch it because I was shooting in the dark, and I don't know, I just didn't catch it. So in those situations, I think there is a huge, even when you are shooting by yourself, there is a benefit to shooting tethered, especially like, long exposures, those types of shoots where you're investing that time into shooting. It's nice to know when you walk away that the image is in focus, and composition wise, everything is the way that you'd like it to be. So I don't think that shooting tethered is just for a group experience or collaboration. There's, being able to push your creativity yourself and be able to make sure that you got what you need. Or there's been times where just shooting tethered, I've changed the direction of the shoot, or I caught something that I wouldn't have necessarily caught on just looking at the back of my screen. So that's me elaborating on that. My personal
I love it.
Experience. Yeah.
Two different views. That's why I love these things.
Yeah.
Another thing too, and I guess Jen, if you want to, you said, is it something you would just use in a group or team setting? I just want to make sure that you don't mean like volume shooting, team and individual, stuff like that. So if you could just clarify that in the chat, I'll come back to that question if we need to clarify it a little bit more. So cool, let's move on.
Yeah. So that was all I had for the slideshow, but I could also do a demo if you guys want to see a demo with a cable.
Yeah, let's do it.
Just the wireless. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and disconnect this. So the cable's nice because it is more instantaneous. So with the wireless, say the Case Air, you're probably looking at just transferring the JPEGs. You're looking at like a 2 to 3 second delay, quote unquote. But with the Air Direct, depending on your camera, it's about 5 times faster than the Case Air, but the cable is still the faster solution.
Yeah, and I did want to point out with the Case Air, it does have the hot shoe mount, but Tether Tools actually has a Arca Swiss to cold shoe that you can actually put it on the side. So if you look at a lot of the images, like especially with like the marketing images, you'll see it's also over to the side, and that's so you can still shoot with your off-camera flash. That's a question that we get a lot, where people see that it mounts on the top of the camera and they're like, oh, I can't use this because I use flash. Right. And that's just not the case. So that's one way that you can do it. Or if your camera does have a sync port, you can go from sync port to your wireless triggering system for your flash as well. That's another way to, still trigger those flashes, but in a different way.
Hey there.
Perfect.
Hey there. Okay.
Go ahead and.
When I tried to connect.
Yeah. So another question that came up. Oh, Jen clarified. So working with a group on a project, not necessarily a group as the subject. Oh, yeah. So I can see what you mean. So a lot of the things at the beginning of the presentation, we talked about being on set or, having people around you, but no. So for me, like for my food photography, it just makes it a little bit bigger. So I know that I nailed the focus. And again, it's at a different angle. So my camera is at this angle shooting straight down. Now I can look at a monitor and see that, framing is properly, I want my composition is right. So in that case, I definitely use it by myself as well. So cool. And again, if there are any questions, please put them in the comments below, so that way we can get those answered before we close out the live stream. So I think Liz is almost done setting up.
I'm still setting up here.
So again, I'm going to go through just a few things here. If you do have questions, like I said, go ahead and put those in the comments below. Also, I wanted to let you know that Tether Tools is doing some additional savings. So until May 31st, you can save 10% off. So we haven't put it on the website quite yet. We're going to get that all set up. So if you're going to order anything, you can reach out to me directly. But yes, they are so generous at giving 10% off. I thank you for doing that. And they're also doing it all the way through the end of May. So if you are looking at picking up any Tether Tool stuff, it's a great way to save some real money. Also, I want to let you know while she's setting up, and Liz, just let me know when you're ready. Pixel Photo Fest is right around the corner. So August 14th through 16th, if you want to, do some tethered shooting, if you want to learn from some of the best in the industry, from where I'm at right now, in downtown Cleveland, we're going to be doing Pixel Photo Fest. And last year, hundreds of people came, and it was just an awesome experience from educators all around the U.S. So we have Vanessa Joy, Aaron Anderson, Jeff Carpenter, Isaac Coffey, Jen and Travis. We have some of the best in the industry coming to teach and train you guys, which is an awesome opportunity. Also, another opportunity is the fact that you can save $100 by typing in lunch and learn when you check out. And that discount only goes as long as we're doing the live stream. So definitely want to take advantage of that, because that gets you half off your admission for 3 days of intensive photo training. I also want to let you know about our weekly photo contest. This week's theme is landscape. So all you have to do is tag us on Instagram or post it on Facebook and tag us. You'll see the same exact image there, and then you'll be entered in to win. And we will announce that on our Friday live stream of who the winner is. I also want to let you know that we're working with Sigma to raise money for local food banks. So 5% of your lens purchase will go directly to the Cleveland Food Bank. So if you've been thinking about getting that new lens, then now's the time. I mean, you can save money. Sigma's running some awesome specials, but you can also save an additional, or that 5% is also going to the Cleveland Food Bank. If you're in need of some additional help, we are doing one-on-ones. So you can go to that website there on the bottom, or just reach out through social media or email. However, let's say you want to learn a little bit more about live streaming or your camera. We are doing virtual one-on-ones. So if you need that help, please feel free to reach out. I want to let you know for the rest of the week, we have tomorrow we have Aaron Anderson. On Friday, we're going to do my live stream, which is the Friday Focus, where we talk about the industry trends and news and fun stuff like that. On Monday, we're going to be talking about Hollywood portraits with Bobby Lane. And then on Tuesday, we're going to have my friend Isaac Coffey in. And I believe we're going to be talking about Instagram marketing. We're going through 2 or 3 different subjects, but I'll let you know as soon as I know about what we're going to be talking about with Isaac. So are you ready over there, Liz?
Yeah, that's lots of good stuff. And that's what I was going to ask you about this morning, was your photo fest. What was what the dates were for that? Because I think they didn't get changed.
Nope.
So I just realized, because I've been shooting wireless, that I haven't shot via a cable with my new camera. So the cable I have is not compatible with my camera.
No worries.
So I won't be doing the cable demo.
That's fine. We have extra questions that came in.
Yes, I did see some of those questions.
Cool. So we'll start with this first one. My Fuji is small. It seems like the cordless setup is big. Are those all the same size? Yeah, so the Case Air, depending on which Fuji you have, if you could post which Fuji you have, that would be totally helpful. What's that?
Yeah, the Fuji isn't compatible with the Case Air, so Jen would have to use the Air Direct. So this is the Air Direct here. So that is the size of the product. I'm not sure. Well, you said you had a small Fuji, so you could mount it on the side if that would be more convenient for you with the L bracket.
Yeah, and if you could, while I'm bringing up the next question, if you can go back to the Fuji picture that you have at the beginning of your presentation, so that way she can see, because you have that picture of the Air Direct, I think with the XT3 maybe, so she can see that. Kim asks, I have tethered with my Fuji. What do I need to for the A7 series. So Kim, you would just need the different cable, and we can help you out with that by figuring out the cable that you need. Or if you want to go the wireless way, you could go with the Air Direct as well. Oh, sorry. It's your next one. So she said for cabled, tethered into light.
If Kim. Okay, so if she has a standard USB-A, then the USB 2.0 micro B cable would be compatible with her camera and her computer. I can pull it up if she has a USB-C on her computer. So I guess we just need to clarify if she has a USB-A or USB-C. So maybe if she could check in with you, TJ, on that.
Absolutely. Stu Morrison says, can't wait for PhotoFest. Was amazing last year. Thank you so much. Jen, can't wait. It was so amazing. I learned so much last year. Absolutely. Good work by Pixel. Thanks for supporting the food bank. Absolutely. And Sigma as well. She said, oh, that's much smaller. I have the XT3. So yeah, I'm going to bring up your screen here. I think it's a couple back. Keep going back to I think it was like the first or second slide that you had there, Liz. Yep, there we go. So there it is with the
Fuji
T3. Yeah, so you can see there, I mean, and this picture is a little bit, I mean, it's shot with a wide angle lens, I would assume, and they're showcasing the product, so it's going to be a little closer to the lens, so it looks bigger than it actually is.
Thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah, so it's really not that much of it. I mean, it's no different than like a trigger that you would put on top of your camera. It's not very big at all. Very lightweight.
Yeah, it is very lightweight. I don't even think, I think it's either just over an ounce or less than an ounce. So
yeah, nice and small. Well, thank you so much, Liz. I appreciate you taking time out of your day, and thank you for the generous 10% off.
Thank you for having
that is awesome. I appreciate you guys doing that. And if anybody needs anything, please feel free to reach out. We are more than happy to help you here at the store. I'll go ahead and leave our email and contact information up there. Again, if you guys need absolutely anything, please let us know. Thanks again, Liz, and we'll talk to everybody in the next one.